most South Africans do fear home invasions and being trapped in our own homes with armed robbers. So with more people heading back to the office and thousands more unemployed, there are concerns that house robberies could be on the rise. Well, to explore the safest way to get you and your family out of the path of danger and to escape unharmed, we're joined by Guy Lamb. He's a crime and violence specialist at Stellenbosch University. Guy, thank you so much for joining us. Home robberies were up by 2.5% this year. What do you attribute that to?
Well, Annika, we saw a drop in house robberies certainly during lockdown. Obviously, that had to do with the various policing measures that were in place and restricted mobility around neighborhoods. But we're certainly seeing elevated levels of house robberies. But looking at a national level is not that helpful. It doesn't really give us indications about that. If we look at city levels, I think that's quite important because the city of Johannesburg has consistently had very high levels of house robberies. But also we've seen, for example, in Nelson Mandela Bay in the city of Cape Town, we've seen quite substantial increases over the past 10 years. So looking at those cities, I think are quite important, Nelson Mandela Bay and Cape Town. And also if we look at those cities, we look at murder rates have gone up and other violent crimes have gone up in those two cities. And it has to do with a variety of factors, but a key issue is firearms. And I think that's the really scary thing for home robberies for South Africans, are that groups or individuals are entering your home with a firearm, and of course that changes the dynamic. If they're entering your home and they don't have a weapon, then your chances of being injured are quite low. But if you've got a gang entering your home with firearms, this is a life or death issue. Multiple people can get hurt in these kind of contexts.
Guy, is there a way to repel thieves from even picking your home as a target?
Well, of course, there's kind of really sort of ad hoc evidence about this. I mean, it's if you wanting to kind of prevent house robberies, there are measures that you can take, and it requires resources. I mean, it's about target hardening, it's better locks, it's about having access control, it's about fencing, it's about burglar bars, reinforcing your doors, those kind of issues. But those take resources. So for most South Africans, those aren't options. Obviously, if you're living in a wealthy neighborhood where you've got private security patrolling, that also contributes to it, with good CCTV camera footage where that's being monitored and you have reaction units, that tends to kind of make a difference. But most house robberies are actually happening in poorer, high crime areas where people don't have the resources to reinforce their homes. So, if you look, for example, in the city of Cape Town, it's going to be high crime areas like Delft, for example, and Philippi East, which have very high levels of home robberies taking place.
Guy, if you are in the awful situation of people being in your home, what's the best way to deal with it?
I mean, the situation here is, there are multiple responses that you can have to the situation. If you're getting a group of individuals, a gang entering your home with firearms, the situation is you don't really want to aggravate it, because the group that's entering your home often are highly stressed. They're looking to steal goods from you, steal goods of high value. They often want you to comply, especially if you've got a safe. So they want you to open that safe. They want you for you to direct them to where the high value goods are. And if you don't comply and you're being cooperative and you resist, there's a very high chance that you're going to be hurt or may even be killed as a result of that. In some circumstances, unfortunately, we don't have very good data. That if you have a firearm in the home and you produce the firearm, brandish the firearm, that you may repel it. But in many circumstances, that can actually lead to you becoming a victim of crime, the firearm being removed from you as well. So the circumstances here are kind of vary from place to place. I mean, ideally, it would be, if your home's being broken into, is to try and get out of your home as quickly as possible, and that depends on the circumstances. Or if you are confronted by an armed gang, is to try and comply as much. The same applies to, for example, carjackings. But of course, if the gang that's entering your home is really looking to hurt you, and to kind of commit sexual crimes in your home, you need to try and find ways to defend yourself. But if you are outgunned and kind of the force is against you, then you need to find circumstances to try and prevent yourself from being injured or killed.
All right, thank you so much. That's Guy Lamb. He's a crime and violence specialist at Stellenbosch University.